Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast. Welcome to episode 31 of the Crewcast for January 25th, 2014. Today we have Piper, Danny, Giz, and myself, and we're going to get straight to the news. Alright, Tomb Raider, the definitive edition, which is a newer version, upgraded graphics, on an already good graphic game, but updated graphics, better textures, even more realism when it comes to like Laura, the hair, all that. We're getting reports from a lot of different news sources that the PS4 is getting 60 frames per second at 1080p. And that's rough. Maybe it goes a little higher, maybe it peaks a little down at minor moments, but for the most part, 60 frames per second on average. Whereas the Xbox One seems to be struggling roughly maybe 40 to 45 frames per second, but nowhere near the frame per second quality of the PS4. What do you guys think? Is this another failure PR-wise, or for Microsoft, a sign of that the developers just aren't in tune yet with the Xbox? I mean, what do you think?
This isn't out yet, is it? This version of Tomb Raider.
Obviously it's out to news sources if it's not out yet. I thought it was out, but maybe it isn't. But it's
28th of January, it says on the side.
Because I was going to say they might have like more developing to do for it, but if it's that close to being released, then that is not good.
Now, this has been an issue we've seen with like Call of Duty Ghosts, which I have on the PS4, which I think when we did the unboxing, Lizzie and I played it horribly. Looks beautiful. It wasn't 1080p at the time, 60 frames per second when we did that, but they patched it a day or two later, and it does look gorgeous, and it runs so smooth. Now, there are games that are Xbox exclusives that are or are going to run at 60 frames per second at 1080p. So some people look at this as it's just the developers aren't up to speed yet. But one thing that is obvious is the PS4 does have a little bit more horsepower graphically, whereas Microsoft seems to have taken the approach of more wanting to make a gaming system that can also work in your like media room, in a sense, for TV and stuff. So maybe a little bit more of a grand plan, but maybe that's hurt it too. Minecraft Snapshot 14W04A. It's out today, the snapshot, which is, when we record this, January 23rd, 2014. So, what do you guys think? Have any of you looked at it? Have any of you read up on it?
I've had a quick look on Reddit on like the brief stuff that's been changed, and apparently villagers now do a bit more stuff. They actually harvest and collect some of your plant stuff now.
Seriously?
That's what it says. I haven't seen them do it. That's what it says. I think bread can be crafted to be shared with fellow villagers. And I've read somewhere, I'm not sure if I'm wrong, but apparently there's like a change now with the way that skins and capes and stuff are distributed through the servers. So like, you haven't got to completely close Minecraft. You have to like at least relog the server. Hopefully that might solve some issues that we always have when I'm like, oh, I can't see your skin, close Minecraft.
Yeah, so I mean, just to run through a few of the things that Giz may have touched on a few of them, but item frames give off a signal now that's detected by comparators. I had hoped, and I don't believe this is the case, but anybody watching or listening can correct us. I think it only works based off of the rotation of the item in the frame, because now you can rotate items 45 degrees, so you have 8 rotations, and each rotation puts out a different voltage. I was so hoping that you could compare the actual items, regardless of their rotation, or even with their rotation, but the item, So when we do Stairway to Destruction, I put the sample items in the frames on both sides. As soon as the players put the matching items, the circuit goes off. Boom, goes the dynamite.
Ah, that'd be good.
But it doesn't look like that's how it works. It looks like if you put in a pork chop and you put in a piece of stone in an item frame, as long as they're rotated the same way, they compare out. Which, if I'm wrong, we can use it for Stairway to Destruction. But I think not yet. So
that's gonna be awesome.
But that's cool though, because I'm seeing some people who have already made videos where they're making combination locks, putting like an arrow in a item frame, and if you rotate the arrow to a certain spot, hit a button, rotate it to another position, hit a button, rotate it to another, boom, doors open.
That's so cool.
As Giz mentioned, AI changes to the villagers. I've heard people say that you can throw like seeds down to villagers, they'll pick it up and plant them. So lots of changes there. Better loot. So I guess now when you kill mobs and such, there's a better chance, like a 1% chance of rare loot, but at least you get more loot options. You can now spawn iron golems, snow golems, withers with dispensers plus pumpkin skulls, respectively. Bushes can now catch fire. One thing that people seem to really love, buttons can now be placed on the ceilings and floors.
Yes. More redstone stuff I can do.
There's secret changes, which they're not talking about, and I'm sure people on Reddit have already found it. Balancing tweaks, which is pretty generic, so we don't really know. They've added some stuff for map makers. So, I mean, in general, the snapshots are always cool. I've heard there's some talk about there's going to be a spectate option. I hope, but I know it won't be, because I can't have the things I want, which has been the mod API. It's like Mojang just tortures me. They won't commit to the mod API. I've always asked for a spectate option. I mentioned it like big time on the Shaft podcast when we were on it. They're talking about a spectate option, but I guarantee you, here's what it's going to be. You're going to be invisible and creative, and you won't pick up stuff or interfere with mobs. And that's going to be it. You'll still have to fly around. I want a spectate option where I can actually like click and like rotate through people's views and get a nice, beautiful view of what they're doing. But I don't think that's what they mean by spectate mode. So anyway, lots of cool stuff on the snapshot. Hopefully people are checking it out. If you know much about the comparators with item frames and you know if we can do what we would like to do for Stairway to Destruction, let us know. Let's get on to crew news. Piper, you have something to talk about?
Yes. The theme build server is still going, which is brilliant. Everybody's been building magic this week, and we did have a slight issue at the start of the week where the server didn't save and it was attacked. We've got more details on the forum about that. But people have been fighting back and they've been rebuilding everything, so it's been really good. But yeah, there's loads of magic builds. The servers, I think it's probably one of the best themes we've done, actually. There's so many different things on there, which is really good. And next week, or as of today, because you'll be watching on Saturday, our theme is the Wild West. So get that sand, get the cactus, find those cowboys, and build.
All right, other subject has been our recent live stream mania. We have been live streaming a lot.
Yep.
A lot of it.
We've been doing a lot of DayZ, Overwatch, standalone. We're going to do some other like shooters and things. We're going to probably do some Team Fortress because I know a lot of people want to play, and that's a free game. So if you don't have Team Fortress installed, get it installed. We're going to do some CSGO, some stuff like that. One thing I want to stream one night, and I think this is probably going to be kind of a second like push, is we've been doing some DayZ standalone, but we've been trying to play that one when Piper can. But they also now have the hardcore DayZ servers, and those are separate hives, so they're separate characters, and it's first person only. So I'm thinking maybe a couple nights a week in the evening, we're going to start streaming on the hardcore DayZ also. in a sense, because it'll be two separate characters and we don't have to worry about where we logged out. Like trying to get back, say, for the weekend, maybe when Piper's going to play, we can have two separate characters that are kind of going. So I think that'll be fun.
That's cool.
But I mean, that's been our goal. Is we're trying to really get more followers on Twitch. We're trying to stream more. Some of you guys, when you see those messages that says we're streaming now, I know a lot of our fans don't ever come over, but some of the reason may be because you don't necessarily like the game that maybe we're playing. Maybe you're not a DayZ fan. Maybe you only want us to do Minecraft. But even when we stream Minecraft, not a lot come over. We've actually ended up, I think, getting more viewers with some of the other games. We're building, in a sense, new fans. But you guys should come over, unless you absolutely hate the game that we're playing, because it is a lot of fun. It's so much different than YouTube when you watch a stream, because you're able to talk with us while we play. So you can type and we see your messages and we respond to you. Sometimes it may be a few minutes before we respond. Sometimes you may have to ask again or say something again, because sometimes you get like heavy into DayZ and you're worried about getting killed and you forget to look at the screen where the chat might be. So I really encourage, if you haven't, come over and watch, play, talk with us. In the case of some of these games like DayZ, Overwatch, DayZ Standalone, Team Fortress, if you have the game, we've been allowing people to come join us. And so far it's gone well. We haven't really had any trolls come and kill us, which I've been amazed by. I thought for sure we'd get some people coming in just to try to kill us.
Might have just jinxed us there, Buzz.
We get killed anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So, I mean, we're going to continue to push on the streaming. We're going to try to stream more stuff. We have a question later about streaming, so we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I don't know how you guys have enjoyed the streaming. I know Danny and I have probably done the most lately and put in some late sessions. But, just any of your guys' thoughts on the live streaming.
I love it. I love the interaction with people. And it's like straight away feedback as well, which is really good. I'm sorry I can't do it as often, but I will try and do it as much as I can.
Yeah, I like live streaming stuff. Just can't keep going for like hours and hours and hours. I think about 3 to 4 hours maybe is my limit.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. Like the long sessions of DayZ that we've done have been really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, and that's the thing with DayZ. I mean, when you play DayZ, even Overwatch, but DayZ Standalone for sure, or even if you just play the DayZ mod like Potagorisk or Day Zero or just standard DayZ, any of those, you have to invest 3-4 hours at a minimum to even get a chance to get much back from it. Because I know like last night we did some Overwatch, and Piper played maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. I'm not really sure. But you probably didn't get a lot of gameplay out of it because of...
No.
Most of your time, I think, was spent at the beginning trying to get to us, and then I think you had like 2 deaths, maybe. Player induced.
About
player
5
induced.
or 6.
Player
Yeah.
induced. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was right there trying to kill them, but yeah.
So.
Stupid people.
It takes long sessions, but I mean, you get a lot of people who come, but. So many people I don't think even really realize what Twitch is, but I mean, it's like YouTube, but it's live. I mean, you're able to watch us play, you hear us talking, you see it, and you can be part of it. Like if you're watching, say, Papers, Please, that another episode went up today. Gizmo actually streamed that. So you'll hear him at times talking with some of the fans or responding to their comments. And then when we aired that later on the channel on YouTube, but we're not going to air everything that happens on Twitch over on YouTube. So really, if you're a fan of any of the things we're playing, or you just want to come talk with us or hang out, come on over and watch. I mean, we've been having a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to push it. We're trying to at least get to the point where when we stream that we have a good, group of people who are coming over to watch and play and interact with us.
We get some good moments from it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've met some really cool people as well. I mean, like Vi, she's been around for ages, but I've never really spoken to her, and she is awesome at Armor and DayZ. She's really cool.
Yeah, so we've made some new friends. We've had some people who don't even know anything about our YouTube channel who have come to play with us.
Just turn up.
So, I mean, it's been fun. We're going to continue to do it. I know a lot of our younger fans are like, stream Minecraft, but since we do this so late, I mean, most of the younger fans can't come watch us. I mean, we're still going to stream Minecraft. Piper streamed Minecraft, I think, yesterday on her day
Yeah.
off in the morning, afternoon, her time, evening, her time maybe. But uh, people here in the States probably couldn't watch it if you're kids because you're at school. And even if you were an adult, you're probably at work. So it's really tough to find great times. But so many people watch stuff late at night. I know when Danny and I have done the DayZ stuff, I mean, we'd continue on till 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning my time. So Danny's up till 7 or 8. And, you know, we'd have situations where we got 70, 80, 90, 100 people still watching us late in the evening. So, and then, you know, laughing at our mess. But we've had some good runs on Overwatch. Yesterday was a horrible day for it. I mean, we struggled to get our footing. So, but anyway, live streaming, we're going to continue to do it. We're having a lot of fun. Come join us, talk with us, watch, join in if you have the game, and we'd love to see you. All right, now let's get to one last crew subject before we get to our main segment, which is crew related. And this is kind of an annoying thing that we have to do. But one of the curses that I've had to deal with ever since we started running servers, and the crew deal with it too. And I've tried to deflect most of it from them and have people come to me, but they still come to the crew. But this is when people complain about their band and they want to know why they're banned, or they want to contest their ban. They've been harassed on the server. They've been foul language used on them. They've been griefed. The list goes on and on. We've set up a form that you can fill out, and I'll put a link in here in the description of this video. It's all over our forum. If something happens where anything's happened to you or you've witnessed something happen in game, fill this out. If you want to contest a ban, fill it out. Put all the detail you can in all the fields. Give us all the information you can, and we'll look into it and try to resolve it. All the crew who are on this document, hopefully, will get an email whenever somebody submits something to it. So far, it's just went up yesterday, so we've had nobody actually use it yet. But this is the way you're going to contact us for issues. If you send a PM to any of the crew, to anyone else, the response that you should get from them is, fill out the form and we'll look into it. We want you to go through this form. That way we have a record and we don't get things lost. Because sometimes they might contact me and it may be an issue that maybe Gizmo saw and I have to talk to him, or vice versa, or whatever. And sometimes we can forget it because we have so many things going on. But I've had days where I've dealt with maybe 10 issues with 10 different people. And it's tough to keep track of them. So this is our new method. Please use it, and hopefully it'll help us expedite dealing with issues and then you getting somebody back on, or if you were banned unfairly, getting back. Just be aware, if you're griefing yourself, we can tell this with the plugins. So don't call. Well, I've had a half dozen people who have griefed themselves and then screamed they were griefed. And then I come look and it's like, oh, you did it. And then they're all embarrassed. So don't do that. But we've had a lot of stuff lately and it's just gotten tiresome. So we want to try to have it organized as best as possible so that we can deal with it. The crew can help. All as a group, we can look into it. And we're going to try to document everything we can even better. I have tons of logs, but it's a pain to sift through them. So hopefully this works. And also, if you have an issue, make sure it's related to our services that we give you guys, our servers, our forum, whatever. Killing Floor servers, Mumble, Minecraft. If it's on some other person's server, even if it's a fan of the crew or a fan-run server, it's not ours. We have no control over it. I don't care about screenshots from somebody else's server or logs from somebody else's server. It has to be stuff that we can control. I mean, if you're having problems somewhere else, just don't go there if it's a problem, is my best advice. If you have a problem on our servers, we'll try to deal with it. All right, let's move on. Keep this thing humming. And the main segment, this is more of us kind of talking just briefly on the subject, so it's not going to be a very long topic, but also wanting you guys to respond with what you think in the comments. Maybe we'll even put a post on the forum about this subject too, so people who'd rather post there can. But we've had a lot of people asking about open servers when we're going to do our next open server. So my question to you guys is, for what you think is, should we do one? What should we play? How should we take signups? If there's things we're going to do, people can play with us. Should everything be things people can play with us? What do people want to play? Discuss.
I've been trying to push for these open servers to come back in because these are my like really good memories, like back in the old days, like when we used to meet loads of people, like have these little sessions where we had about 10 or 15 or so people and chatting to them. So I think it's a really good idea to get back to those. I think Minecraft obviously is a no-brainer for like one of the games to play. I mean, there's so much we can do, like so many games and stuff we can play. I mean, obviously, there's other things that we could do. I think DayZ could be a good thing. Although we are doing a lot of DayZ, isn't it? I think Armour, yeah, a lot of Armour stuff, like the vehicle stuff we've been doing would be quite cool.
Even the like the Armour game, not the Armour games, the gun games in Armour.
Yes, gun games.
That was cool.
Killing spree. So yeah, I mean, we'll try to organize something, but we'd like to know like what you guys would like to see. Keep in mind, sometimes some people were like, "We'd love to see you do Stop the Boom," and that's fine. We can do Stop the Boom, but some of the things we do can be very limiting on how many people can play, and that's I think the hardest thing. In the past, when we've done open servers, what they've been is like long things where we have like, we're going to play Stop the Boom, we're going to play Spleef, we're going to do this, and we've set up like time slots, and we let people sign up for different time slots. And maybe we've done the same things, like we start off with Spleef, then we went to Stop the Boom, we went to this, then we'd sign up 10 or 15 people for different things and let people sign up in groups. We'd maybe take applications for say 50 because we know half of the people won't even show up. But do we stick with like time slots and, what games are played? Do we repeat them different times over like an 8-hour, 10-hour window so that people in all the different time zones can still do it? When we did some of the early open servers, it was more like the first slot is this game, next slot's this game, and people could sign up for a specific slot, but it was all different stuff. What's the best method? Certain things repeated over and over and allow people to sign up for slots. But what are they too? I mean, Arma, stuff like that, DayZ, you can have large numbers of people. Minecraft, you can have large numbers of people for like builds, but having 128 people play Stop the Boom would be insane.
That would.
I mean, Minecraft doesn't lead itself very well to large numbers doing much besides just either people running around exploring, generic, just wide open worlds, or things like builds. So, I mean, we're going to try to do something. Maybe we'll try to shoot for something like, I don't want to say February, but maybe like March, maybe like early March. We'll try to figure out something. We'll have to look at everybody's schedules, but we need to give people enough notice that they could sign up. But then there's also the issue, you don't want to wait too long because people sign up for something a month, 2 months down the road. They already are busy once that comes up, and now you start wasting slots for people to play, and then they can't even show. So we have to figure out like when's the right time to take applications or sign-ups, and get that all timed out right. So we'll figure something out, but we'd love to hear what you guys think. What should we play? How would you like to see it organized? If it's Minecraft, what Minecraft games do you want to play? Keeping in mind we want to do stuff that works with, I'd say at least 16 people or more. But obviously we're not going to have 64 people, but maybe 16 to 32 in some cases is around a decent number. So, any other thoughts you guys have on this subject?
No, I'm just looking forward to when we do it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
All right.
What's your feedback?
All right, so let's move on now to our deals of the week. First up, the Humble Weekly Sale has something new now. It is basically for the week, you can get the Humble Roguelike Bundle, or Weekly Sale. And basically, $6 or more will get you paranormal, Paranautical Activity, which is an early access game, Dungeons of Dreadmore Complete, Hack/Loot, The Binding of Isaac, Wrath of the Lamb DLC, Teleclitch, Die More Edition, Guns and Times, or Tunes, and Sword of the Stars, The Pit, Gold Edition. Now, I don't know if there's going to be anything else added to this. I mean, this might be locked for the week. They may end up adding something else to it. But $6 for those games, definitely not a bad deal. I have most of these games. But I will say one thing also I've noticed. Now it seems like on Humbles, if you already have the game, a lot of times now there's like a little present icon next to all of the items, and you can decide to redeem it to your Steam or gift it to somebody else.
That's good.
I don't know if this is up to the people that are selling the games through Humble. So like in this case, Roguelike, if every one of these developers of these titles has to agree that theirs can either be part of the bundle and or gift it. So I'm not sure if it's everything, but I'm going to probably pick up this bundle. And I think the only things I don't have is Paranautical and Teleclitch. So all those other ones I theoretically may have as a gift option. So one of the bonuses to this is something that we can give out, I believe, the next time we stream something Arma related, is I have Arma 2, Operation Arrowhead in a sense, combined ops that I can give out. So that'll be a good test of the gifting system. So maybe when we stream something like Overwatch, right at the beginning, we'll do a draw and give away a copy of Combined Operations to somebody. But let's move on to our last segment, which is your questions. Now, we have a link in the description of this video where you can submit your questions. We need your guys' questions. Send us questions that haven't been asked before. Come up with something unique. Doesn't have to be about gaming. Doesn't have to be about Minecraft. Could be questions that you maybe have specifically for a certain crew member that is here for the podcast, or just about the crew or whatever. Whatever you want, submit it. If you do it as an audio, put it on, say, SoundCloud, link us to that. If you want to do it as a video question, put it on YouTube, make it unlisted, put it on Vimeo, whatever. Give us a link. We love those. But today, we only have typed questions.
Aww.
Yeah. So our first question comes from Christina. And she asks, have you guys ever tried to do YouTube videos with other YouTubers? Why or why not? It's a good question,
I think
Christina.
it's difficult, isn't it? Because, we're all, a big group of YouTubers, and for just, one person to come in, I think that'd be quite difficult in a way, but, I know there are groups of YouTubers out there, Yogscast and stuff, but, they probably wouldn't look twice at us, so...
In some cases, the best thing is just for people to help promote the other ones. Like, say, give a like to this person, give a like to that person, and, back and forth. And then maybe your subscriber bases kind of meld together. It's, but it's tough. I mean, when we did when Piper and I were on the Shaft podcast, we had some of our fans go there to watch it, but most of them had no idea what the Shaft podcast was, and they didn't care. They just knew us from our thing, and vice versa. A lot of the podcast group didn't have any idea who we were because a lot of them were older and they weren't following our channel because, in the early days, we catered specifically to just the younger group watching Lizzie and Paige. And we've expanded since then. So, I mean, we've talked about it. We've never really pursued it. I mean, if there's any other YouTubers out there that are similar, to us, or be it in genre, size, or whatever, they're welcome to send me a message. All right, so let's go on to our next question, which comes from GamerGirl223. Will you ever make the podcast something we can listen to on our phones, iPads, etc.? We've already done that.
Or just reply ever.
Now, Danny might be able to give more information or correct me when I describe it, but at least on, say, Android, I have an app on my Android phone called Dog Catcher, which is a podcast app. All I've done is which you'll see in the link in the description, there's a link to an RSS feed. I added that to Dog Catcher. It sees our channel, our podcast and it subscribes to it, and it'll automatically download and let me listen to them on my phone. It'll work on any Android device. There's tons of different applications. Dogcatcher is a commercial Android app. It's cheap, but it's commercial. But there's a lot of good ones that are free too. In fact, now I probably wouldn't even bought Dogcatcher because there's other ones that are probably just as good. But back when I first got my Android phone, Dogcatcher, my first ever Android phone, 3-4 years ago, Dogcatcher was the best app at the time. On iTunes, I believe on your PC or Mac, iTunes has an option where you can subscribe to a podcast that's not in the iTunes list by just going up and saying like subscribe to a URL or something like that, and then you put in that RSS feed and it automatically adds it to your iTunes and lets you download it.
That is right.
So if you have an iPad, which I see you mentioned phones and iPads, Gamer Girl, I'm not sure if you're talking iPods, iPads, iPhones. If you have iTunes, that's your way to do it. I do believe there are also RSS readers for the iPod devices, all those iOS devices, that you can subscribe with them if you don't like to use iTunes. But I think pretty much everybody that has an iOS device uses iTunes. But you can subscribe to it quite easily. We have fans who do. Go through iTunes and do it that way. If you have an Android, it's very simple. If you use a PC application, just use the RSS link. Almost every podcast program will allow you to add RSS links. I've been lazy when it comes to doing our podcast the way iTunes wants to put it on their like iTunes store thing. I mean, it would be free, but they want like certain things in the RSS code for your podcast that have like certain types of images, and they won't accept it until I put it in all that format that Apple wants. Apple likes to do things their own way, and if you don't do it their way, they don't want to listen to you. So you can subscribe to it manually, like I've said, but eventually I'll try to get it in the iTunes store also, so you can just subscribe in there. But it hasn't been a huge priority. I don't really know how many people out there even want to listen to the podcast through these devices. I know a few of you crew have mentioned that some fans have said they do it this way, but I think it's a very small number. All right.
I don't actually know of anyone. Oh, sorry.
Somebody told me. I thought it was Danny, but maybe it wasn't.
I can't remember.
So anyway, our last question comes from Fox232. Would you do a weekly Minecraft live stream every week at the same time?
I would like to, yes. This was an idea that I had a while ago. I think it would actually work. If we had a set day, just knowing time and day to actually do it. But I think it would be quite good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I think the hardest part is just when you do it and how you can do it where it doesn't affect everybody. Because right off the bat, if you're going to try to allow everybody a chance to see it, it has to be a weekend. I mean, that's a given. If you do it Monday through Friday, you're going to or even late Sunday night, you pretty much alienate everybody. So you have to do it Saturday or Sunday, and it has to be like early enough, almost late in the UK, but not quite. And then you still kind of push people who are in West Coast America, maybe from having to get up early in order to watch it. So that's been my biggest problem, is there's never a great time. People in Australia are completely screwed. Sorry, mates.
Yeah, sorry, Australia.
So I think that's our biggest issue, is when it would happen. Because I think, you almost have to look at something like maybe you shot for, say, if you say noon on the West Coast, which is, and it's, I'll say Saturday at noon, which is not a horrible time. Kids hopefully are up by noon, but I know a lot of kids sleep past noon on the weekends. So let's just say Saturday West Coast noon. That's 3 p.m. my time. But now you're at 8 p.m. in the UK. And we've started stuff around the 8-9 window. And even on weekends, a lot of our fans say they can't watch it. So now you've got to back up. So do you do it, say, at 5 p.m. in the UK, which is noon here on the East Coast, which would then be 9 a.m. on the West Coast? Doesn't seem like any of it works beautifully for people.
Again, it could be another thing they could tell us in the comments. Like, what would be the best time for them?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, our user base is predominantly U.S. and U.K., then Canada. U.S. is a huge piece of it. Then the U.K., and then Canada close behind. Then I think Australia. I think that's like the big four. So you want to try to cater, but as soon as you go across the pond, the time zones are all wacky. So, I mean, I don't think it works at all on a weekday. Because kids don't get home from school until like here in the States, it's maybe 4 o'clock. Maybe is a safe guess for kids to be home from school, but that's 1 p.m. on the West Coast. So you've totally thrown them out because they're not even home. So, let us know what you think. I mean, it's an issue we've talked about before, and we always feel bad when we hear people say you guys stream so late. So I think it has to be a weekend thing. There's the other option would be to have 2 streams, like a stream that's US friendly and a stream that's UK friendly. But then you start kind of pushing multiple streams on people if it's Minecraft or whatever. I guess my biggest thing is the reason I've never pushed to do it is I don't think we've had many people come watch us when we do Minecraft, unless it's like a major event for charity or like a major like 24-hour live stream. We generally don't get a lot of people to come watch live streams from our channel. We're seeming to get more people now who are just people who like to watch streams who are coming to watch us. So I think the best thing would be, at least initially, is when we are streaming, when Piper streams Single Player World, if Gizmo streams Minecraft on a weekend, come watch. Say that you're coming because you want to see these more often. And if we see a lot of people show up, then that'd be great. I mean, we have 80,000+ subs on our channel. You would hope that when we stream, we'd get hundreds of people. But a lot of times it might be 20 or 30 people come from YouTube to watch it. So if you want to see it more often, come over to them and let us know in the comments if you've never been able to make any because of the times, and then let us know. Any other thoughts on that?
Not really. I think you covered it all.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that, this ends episode 31 of the Crewcast. If you guys want to say goodbye and do your crazy things, we'll head out.
Bye.
How do you know I was going to do something crazy?
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compass.